Have you ever wondered if moving into a nursing home is truly the best option as you get older? Many people assume that when they're old and alone, a nursing home is the safest and most practical choice. But what if I told you that this decision comes with hidden risks, some of which could actually make your life harder instead of easier? Nursing homes are designed to provide care, but what they often take away is just as important as what they offer, from the loss of dependence to emotional and financial costs. There are serious consequences that most people don't consider until it's too late. In this video, we're uncovering 7 causes why moving into a nursing home may not be the best decision. If you're thinking about your future, or if you have a loved one who is considering this option, it's important to understand what's really at stake. Many seniors find themselves feeling trapped, isolated, and even worse off than before, simply because they didn't know these truths ahead of time. Stay tuned until the end, because what you learn today might change how you think about aging and long-term care. If you've ever felt unsure about what's best for you or a loved one, this information will help you make a more informed and confident decision. Number 1. Financial burden. One of the most significant considerations we face as we plan for our later years is the financial cost of care. Many of us have worked hard to save for retirement, and the idea of moving into a nursing home can evoke a mix of relief and anxiety. Relief because there is the promise of comprehensive care, and anxiety because of the hidden financial burdens that may arise. Additionally, the prospect of reduced financial flexibility often forces difficult choices that can reshape our future and personal legacy significantly. Imagine an 80-year-old gentleman named Richard. Richard had spent his entire life carefully managing his savings, planning for a comfortable retirement. But after a fall that left him with limited mobility, his family suggested a nursing home as a safe haven. At first, the facility provided him with meals, medical attention, and assistance with daily activities. However, as the months went by, Richard began to notice that his savings were depleting much faster than he had anticipated. Hidden fees, extra charges for private rooms, specialized physical therapy sessions, and even personal care items accumulated rapidly. Within a year, nearly half of his hard-earned savings had vanished, leaving him with a diminished sense of financial independence and control. Richard's experience, marked by unexpected challenges and realizations, underscores the need to scrutinize all details before committing to long-term care. Consider this. Some nursing homes charge thousands of dollars a month, and in certain regions, costs can even exceed $100,000 a year. Medicare may cover short-term rehabilitation, but for long-term care, many seniors must rely on personal funds until they qualify for Medicaid, a process that often requires spending down almost all personal assets. For someone like Richard, this meant losing the ability to leave an inheritance, keep his cherished home, or maintain his financial security. This overwhelming financial pressure forces seniors to reassess their lifelong savings, leading to decisions which affect legacy and family stability. Throughout our lives, the life lessons from the elderly remind us that our financial independence is not just about the money, it's about the choices we can make and the freedom we maintain. So while nursing homes promise care, they can also bring an unexpected financial burden that leaves us with fewer choices. Embracing the wisdom of experience, we learn that financial security empowers us to live freely, make decisions, and cherish life. Think back to a time when you had to manage your finances carefully. What strategies did you use, and how did they help you feel secure? Number 2. Increased loneliness and depression. There is a common misconception that being in a nursing home means never being alone, that the constant presence of others guarantees a sense of community. Yet, many of our peers have found that the reality is far more complex. In the midst of crowded dining halls and scheduled group activities, there can still linger an overwhelming feeling of isolation, as if the walls echo with silence despite the bustle. Many residents struggle to find genuine warmth amid routine interactions that feel impersonal and detached. Take Carol, for example, a vibrant 78-year-old woman who once lived alone but thrived on a bustling network of neighbors, friends, and a beloved church community. Carol's home was a haven of warmth, a place where every knock on the door brought a familiar smile, and every visit was a cherished moment of connection. When Carol moved into a nursing home, she expected to find the same level of interaction. Instead, she often found herself surrounded by unfamiliar faces and shallow conversations, leaving her heart yearning for the rich, familiar bonds she once enjoyed. Her days became a mix of polite small talk and programmed activities that barely scratched the surface of true companionship. It's not merely the physical separation from family and friends that stokes loneliness. The emotional impact of leaving behind a home filled with memories, a garden tended with care, a favorite armchair by the window, the smell of a home-cooked meal, can be profound and deeply unsettling. Even with modern technology offering video calls, it doesn't quite replace the warmth of an in-person hug or the gentle reassurance of a familiar voice. The loss of cherished personal spaces leaves a void that digital connections can only partly fill, reminding us how essential authentic human touch really is. Research tells us that chronic loneliness can lead to increased risks of heart disease, cognitive decline, and even a shorter lifespan. Our life lessons from the elderly remind us that emotional well-being is deeply interwoven with physical health, creating a foundation for our overall quality of life. Social connection is not just a luxury, it's a necessity for a vibrant, fulfilling life, nurturing our spirit and helping us weather life's storms with resilience and grace. If you're still here, thank you for sharing this quiet moment with me. If today's message touched something true in your life, just comment number 2 so I know you're here. And if you haven't yet, I'd love for you to subscribe and tap the bell so you won't miss what's next. This channel is a gentle space where experience matters, kindness is shared, and growing older means something. I'm truly grateful you're here. Number 3, decline in physical health. When we think about moving into a nursing home, many of us imagine that the access to professional care and regular assistance will keep us healthier. However, there's another side to the story that often goes unspoken: the risk of physical decline due to reduced daily activity. In addition, while professional support can feel reassuring, it may inadvertently limit our natural engagement and personal movement throughout the day. Imagine James, an 82-year-old who had always prided himself on his independence. At home, James maintained an active routine, preparing his own meals, tending to his small garden, and taking leisurely walks around his neighborhood. After a minor surgery, James moved into a nursing home, hoping to regain some of that supportive structure he had known throughout his life. Yet, within a few months, he began to notice a troubling change. The nursing home schedule, though well-intentioned, meant that he spent most of his day sitting. The physical activity he had once taken for granted was replaced by extended periods of inactivity, leading to muscle loss, joint stiffness, and an increased risk of falls. James's transition, once filled with hopeful expectations, slowly revealed the unintended consequences of a regimented schedule that stifled his natural energy and freedom of movement. The decline wasn't just physical, it affected his spirit as well. Without the opportunity to engage in personalized exercise programs or pursue the hobbies that once kept him active, James felt his body and mind slipping away from him. Even nutrition, a cornerstone of maintaining strength, took a hit. Meals, although provided regularly, were often not as tailored to his needs, lacking the balance of nutrients that home-cooked food once offered. This loss of physical engagement left him feeling isolated from his previous lifestyle, intensifying the emotional toll of losing cherished independence and self-care practices that once defined his daily joy. Statistics show that older adults who remain physically active are more likely to retain their independence and experience a higher quality of life. The life lessons from the elderly teach us that our bodies, much like our memories, require regular care and attention. In a nursing home environment, the structured schedule can inadvertently lead to physical decline, reminding us of the importance of maintaining our routines and staying as active as possible. These insights remind us to advocate for our well-being by incorporating movement into our daily routines, ensuring that our golden years remain vibrant, engaging, and fulfilling. Recall a time when you felt physically vibrant and active. What activities did you enjoy that made you feel strong and full of life? Number 4, high risk of neglect or mistreatment. As we navigate the path of aging, safety and care become paramount concerns. Many of us believe that a nursing home is a sanctuary where constant, attentive care is guaranteed, yet the reality for some seniors is marked by instances of neglect or mistreatment, a consequence of understaffing, burnout, or even systemic issues within the facility. However, behind the reassuring promise lies a hidden reality where care may fall short, leaving seniors feeling vulnerable and lost. Consider Helen, a 79-year-old woman who moved into a nursing home with the hope of receiving compassionate care. In the beginning, Helen's days were filled with routine assistance and structured activities. However, it didn't take long for her to notice the inconsistency. On some days, her requests were attended to promptly. On others, she waited for hours without any response. Simple needs, like using the restroom, getting help with meals, or receiving timely medication, were sometimes overlooked. This lack of responsiveness led Helen to feel not only neglected but also devalued, as if her voice and her needs were no longer a priority. Her experience, filled with fluctuating moments of care and long stretches of silence, left her heart heavy with profound sorrow. Unfortunately, Helen's story is not isolated. In some facilities, overworked staff and high patient-to-caregiver ratios can lead to situations where residents do not receive the timely or compassionate care they deserve. While many caregivers work tirelessly out of genuine concern, the systemic issues within some nursing homes create vulnerabilities that can have severe physical and emotional consequences. These systemic challenges diminish the quality of care and erode trust that seniors place in institutions meant to nurture them. It is in moments like these that the life lessons from the elderly resonate most deeply. They remind us that every person deserves to be treated with dignity and respect, especially during the twilight years of life. Our well-being is not only about physical care but also about the nurturing of our spirit and self-worth. Such moments inspire us to advocate for ourselves, to demand kindness and accountability, and cherish the worth of every life. If you're still here, thank you for sharing this quiet moment with me. If today's message touched something true in your life, just comment number 4 so I know you're here. And if you haven't yet, I'd love for you to subscribe and tap the bell so you won't miss what's next. This channel is a gentle space where experience matters, kindness is shared, and growing older means something. I'm truly grateful you're here. Number 5, loss of independence. Independence is a treasure that many of us hold dear, a gift of being able to decide when to rise, what to eat, and how to spend our day. However, moving into a nursing home often means trading that independence for a structured routine dictated by the facility. While this structure can offer a sense of security, it can also feel confining and restrictive. This rigid scheduling often means sacrificing the spontaneity that fuels our inner creativity and joy, leaving us yearning for the freedom to embrace unexpected moments and explore our personal passions with unfettered delight. Take the story of Robert, an 81-year-old man who had always relished his autonomy. For decades, Robert had lived by his own rules, choosing his own meals, deciding his own bedtime, and taking pleasure in the freedom of spontaneous outings. But after a fall left him vulnerable, his family convinced him to move into a nursing home. Robert quickly discovered that his once cherished freedom was being replaced by a strict schedule. Meals were served at predetermined times, daily activities were planned without much input from him, and even his healthcare decisions were often made by others. In this regimented environment, every moment felt dictated by an external clock, gradually erasing the spark of self-direction and spontaneity that had long defined his vibrant spirit and personal narrative. For many seniors like Robert, this loss of independence is more than just an inconvenience. It's a loss of identity. Our ability to make choices is intrinsically linked to our sense of self, and when that ability is stripped away, we can feel adrift. The gentle wisdom of the life lessons from the elderly reminds us that true care should never come at the cost of our personal autonomy. Instead, it should empower us to continue living our lives on our own terms, even as we receive the support we need. When autonomy is diminished, it feels as though someone else is rewriting the unique story of our lives, stripping away our cherished individuality and self-worth, while genuine care celebrates and safeguards our right to choose our own path. Reflect on a moment when you enjoyed a personal freedom that you cherished deeply. How did that freedom shape your sense of who you are? Number 6. Loss of a familiar environment and personal identity. One of the most overlooked consequences of moving into a nursing home is the emotional impact of leaving behind a familiar environment. Your home is more than just a place. It holds memories, routines, and a sense of identity that is hard to replace. When you move into a facility, you may have to give up personal belongings, adjust to a new daily structure, and let go of the comfort of being in a space that feels truly yours. For many seniors, this transition is not just difficult, it's deeply unsettling. A home is filled with small but meaningful rituals that give life a sense of normalcy. Sitting in your favorite chair, tending to your garden, or simply having coffee in a familiar kitchen can bring comfort and stability. In a nursing home, however, your space is smaller, often shared with a roommate, and decorated with generic furniture instead of the things that made your house feel like home. The ability to move freely, decorate as you please, or even keep sentimental items may be limited, making it hard to feel a sense of ownership over your living space. Beyond physical surroundings, the loss of personal identity can be even more profound. After decades of living life on your own terms, moving into a nursing home can feel like a shift from being an independent person to being a resident in an institution. Daily choices, what to eat, when to sleep, and how to spend time, are often made by staff rather than by you. Over time, this can create a sense of detachment from the person you once were. Many seniors begin to feel as though they are just part of a system, rather than an individual with unique interests and passions. Social roles and hobbies that once defined them can fade away. For instance, you might have been known in your community as a great cook, an avid gardener, or someone who loved fixing things around the house. In a nursing home, opportunities to engage in meaningful activities that reinforce your identity can be limited. Even when activities are available, they may not align with your interests or the things that once gave you a sense of purpose. This can lead to feelings of boredom, frustration, or even grief for the life left behind. Take Eleanor, for example. At 83, she had lived in the same house for over 40 years, knew every neighbor on her street, and cherished her garden. She spent her evenings knitting blankets for her grandchildren. But when she moved into a nursing home, she lost those familiar comforts. Her small room didn't have space for her knitting supplies, she no longer had access to her garden, and the daily routine felt impersonal. Over time, she felt like she was losing touch with the person she had always been. If you're still here, thank you for sharing this quiet moment with me. If today's message touched something true in your life, just comment number 6 so I know you're here. And if you haven't yet, I'd love for you to subscribe and tap the bell so you won't miss what's next. This channel is a gentle space where experience matters, kindness is shared, and growing older means something. I'm truly grateful you're here. Number 7, limited control over medical and end-of-life decisions. One of the most important yet rarely discussed consequences of moving into a nursing home is losing control over your own medical and end-of-life decisions. When you live on your own, you have the power to choose your doctors, decide on treatments, and plan for the future in a way that aligns with your values. But once you enter a nursing home, many of these decisions are influenced by facility policies, staff members, and sometimes even legal guardians who may not fully understand your personal wishes. A major issue is the lack of personalized medical care in a nursing home. Doctors and nurses are responsible for many residents at once, meaning that medical decisions are often made based on general protocols rather than individual preferences. Medications may be adjusted without fully discussing alternatives, routine treatments may be delayed, and the level of personal attention you receive may be far less than what you are used to at home. Instead of having a trusted doctor who knows your history, you may see different staff members who rotate shifts, making it harder to build a consistent patient care relationship. Beyond daily healthcare, end-of-life decisions are another critical concern. Many nursing homes have strict policies regarding do not resuscitate, DNR orders, life support and palliative care, which may not align with what you truly want. In some cases, residents or their families are pressured into making decisions based on what is easiest or most convenient for the facility rather than what is best for the individual. If these choices haven't been clearly documented in advance, seniors may find themselves receiving treatments they didn't want or being denied care they desperately needed. Another challenge is the potential loss of legal decision-making power. If a nursing home determines that a resident is no longer capable of making medical choices on their own, a court-appointed guardian or facility administrator may take over those decisions. This means that even if you had clear preferences for your care, those choices might be overridden by someone else. Take Harold, for example. At 84, he had a clear vision for how he wanted to handle his health care as he aged. He had written advance directives, discussed his wishes with his family, and assumed he would always have a say in his treatments. However, after a minor stroke, his ability to make decisions was questioned, and a legal guardian was appointed to oversee his medical choices. He soon found himself receiving treatments he didn't agree with and unable to refuse medications that made him feel worse. Despite his years of planning, his voice was no longer being heard. What is one lesson from your past that continues to guide you today? How does that lesson inspire you to live each day with purpose and joy? Final thoughts. As we come to the close of our conversation, let's take a quiet moment to reflect on the 7 hidden risks of moving into a nursing home. Many of us have believed that such a place offers safety and simplicity when living alone. However, life teaches us that the choices we make are rarely simple. They are woven from many threads of our experiences. We see that moving into a nursing home can sometimes mean losing the cherished independence and personal identity we've built over a lifetime, along with facing emotional isolation, financial pressures, and less control over our own care. Remember, dear friends, that you always have choices. There are many ways to receive care without giving up the freedom that makes life so precious. Options like home health aides, shared housing with fellow seniors, assisted living communities, and even live-in caregivers are available to help you continue living on your own terms. Each of these alternatives offers the support you might need while keeping your spirit free and your decisions in your own hands. The wisdom we gain over the years teaches us that our later years should be about nurturing comfort, building connections, and celebrating autonomy, not merely about managing our medical needs. The best way to safeguard your future is to plan ahead, ask thoughtful questions, and make sure that wherever you live truly supports the life you have always dreamed of. Thank you for spending this time with us. I encourage you to share a thought in the comments, perhaps one lesson from your own rich journey or a piece of advice that has helped guide you through life's many seasons. Your stories and reflections not only honor your own experiences, but also inspire others in our community. If you found these insights valuable, please like, subscribe, and share your support so that we can continue to create content that informs, inspires, and brings us all a little closer together. I look forward to joining you in our next conversation. As the old proverb reminds us, do not regret growing older. It is a privilege denied to many.